Heyo, Zirin here. Originally I was gonna take a look at the entire June State of Play 2022 from PlayStation, but after having watched it, to be honest, I didn't have much to say about anything aside from Final Fantasy XVI. Don't get me wrong, there were a ton of decently interesting and big releases announced, like Resident Evil 4 Remake, Callisto Protocol, and Street Fighter 6, but I'm not personally too interested in any of them. Eternize looks like a hot pile of mediocre anime garbage, not necessarily because the game itself is terrible, but rather the trailer paints the game in a pretty awful light. Anywho, we aren't talking about any of that today. We're here for the Square Enix good stuff, and hot dang, was the Final Fantasy XVI trailer a spectacle. Let's start by taking a look at it. Classic Final Fantasy. Being very, what's the word? Epic to the point of pretentious. Hey, I like it though.
Who are we?
Oh.
What are the dominants? The power we wield. It wears away at our very being.
I do really like how
It unmakes
this is already kind of apparent from before in the previous trailer,
might reveal itself.
but I really like how the Final Fantasy 16 really makes summons the main focus of the game. It's like, hell yeah, godlike beings, kaijus, of course. Oh.
Every day we delay brings us closer to disaster.
Oh, gameplay.
We must move now.
Oh, hell yeah.
The chaos he would wreak would sweep all of Valisthea into the abyss.
Oh, Final Fantasy 16 is so action focused. It's like they clearly took a lot from FF7 Remake. You can even see the stagger bar there.
Unite the dominants, that we may bring an end to the strife.
Oh,
We found a
sick.
new order to see us on to tomorrow. If I take the field,
The music's really good in this trailer too.
to its foundations.
Oh, he's the Titan guy, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, they're both bald. Maybe that. Maybe being. It's probably him, right? I don't know anything about this story, but I'm already assuming like all the main characters are probably like have the powers of the, you know, the summons and stuff, and they can incarnate into them. It's a very Japanese sort of story beat, you know, where like your main character has the spirit of an ancient being that he can transform into. Who's the badass who gets Odin?
It is true. Yet for every citizen who falls, another can be bred.
Another citizen can be bred.
Another can be built.
I like it as evil emperor,
The
dude.
empire will live on.
Oh. Oh. Oh god. It sounds really good though, as much as I'm making fun of it. Yeah, that's a great ass trailer.
Awaken, child of fate.
Wow.
Awaken, Ifrit.
Imagine the fact that Ifrit, like, you know, one of the usually the starter summon who's like, you know, a complete wimp, main character of the game. So now that we've taken a look at the Dominance trailer in its entirety, we can now go back and take a look at some of the more, you know, zoom in, focus on the gameplay features that we kind of just skipped over because of all the spectacle and the spinning Beyblade people. I think the main thing I want to focus on is the gameplay. In this small section right here, you can see a lot of the battle system that the game is going to be based on, where bottom left has your D-pad, do quick item slots, bottom right has all your face buttons, attack, jump, some sort of skill, and some sort of unique summon skill. The battle system is clearly heavily focused on using your summons as a style change, similar to Devil May Cry style change system, except instead of changing your style, changing, you know, what summon you have, with each summon granting you special abilities. You can clearly see that when he presses R2, his square and triangle move changes to a special summon ability, as well as the fact that he changed his summon in the middle of a combo by pressing L2, and you can also see the fact that you can rotate between 3 different summons at any given point. It's pretty clear that some sort of Capcom developer, I mean Devil May Cry developer, has a hand in making this game, because otherwise there's no way it's this close to, you know, DMC. Which, for some people, might be a bad thing. You know, a lot of people don't like the direction that modern Final Fantasy has been taking recently. Well, I say recently, but the last decade, where they try to move on from a party-focused turn-based game into a character-based action game. Personally, if the game looks really cool and plays really well, I'm all for Final Fantasy moving on to turning into an action game. I think Final Fantasy's identity as a franchise isn't really based on being specifically turn-based, but rather on usually being a frontrunner to a generation, of being the best looking ultimate spectacle of a game that really shows off what the machine of that generation is capable of. It's also a franchise that tries to really have a crazy story with characters that the players grow to love over the course of the plot. And I think all of that is doable without specifically being a turn-based RPG. Has every game they've made have amazing stories, amazing characters every single time? No, but at the very least, they've tried, and it always looks really good. This trailer shows off a lot of the Kaiju vs Kaiju or Summon vs Summon battles with Ifrit, Garuda, and all of the main characters, but I'm curious to know how that actually plays in-game. Is it like an actual battle system? Because clearly this all looks amazing, but even if we see a life bar, it's like, do we just press a button and all this stuff happens? Is there even really a battle system, or is this just a interactive movie of sorts where the life bar is just there for the player's reference to see how much damage each monster is taking? I'm assuming when it's showing the summon on summon, these are just movies, honestly. But you can also see the fact that when Shiva attack, you can see the main character's normal life bar, indicating that this is probably also an ultimate move that a player can use when they build up enough bar or meter. Honestly, everything I've seen in this trailer looks really cool. Like, the baseline is, I look at this game, I look at what they show off, all the combat features, all the movies and everything, and I'm like, wow, I'm really excited to play this game. I want to get my hands on it. I want to give it a shot. Music-wise, gameplay-wise, and even presentation-wise, it all looks really good. Even story-wise, the game has me hooked. Sure, the trailer is chock full of words and phrases that currently mean next to nothing for the player beyond sounding cool, but I feel like Final Fantasy's story really shines when it goes all the way without holding anything back, and having a story that goes beyond epic in scope to the point of sheer insanity. Having giant kaijus being a centerstone of the story with all the main characters being able to transform into them, all I'm thinking is like, sick, that's badass. How does the Emperor even control his soldiers? Does he have a summon too? Is he also a dominant, as they call it? Is he going to transform into Odin during the epic battle? I've played a lot of Final Fantasy back in the day, and while I've not really caught up on the modern ones, this trailer has got me really excited to check it out. Although, I pray to the high heavens that it comes out on PC, because I do not have a PS5. With that said, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out on PC eventually, so hey, that's what I'm looking forward to. Anywho, that'll be it for this one, so yeah. See you later. Till next time.